Hi there, my name is Aino Frilander, and I'm so glad to get the ball rolling with Aalto University's Fashion in Helsinki seminar. Today, I will be talking to some incredibly smart people about the secret ingredient in all good fashion design, creativity. As my first guest, I would love to introduce you to Sara Maino, who is the Deputy Editor-in-Chief of Vogue Italia and head of Vogue Talent. Sara has also served as a judge in a number of fashion competitions, including the LVMH Prize and the Woolmark Prize. And most people in the industry would agree that Sara has the best eye for spotting and elevating new talent in fashion. Sara, can you tell me what exactly is Vogue Talents?
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me today. I know it's a pleasure. And well, Vogue Talents is, well, it's always difficult to give a specific identity, but I would say it's a platform because it was born in 2009. And the idea of Vogue Talents was the main idea and the main DNA, which hasn't changed until today. It's the support to the new generation of creatives with no boundaries. So it's been international since day one. I mean, it's been obviously it's a child of Italian Vogue, but it's always been international as Italian Vogue has always been. And the main vision of Vogue Talents is support the new generation, because the new generation is our future and we need to invest them and support them. So this was really the main reason why Vogue Talents was born, and also, to think about the next generation that's going to be, after us. So I think we have to believe them and support them.
When you are scouting the next new names in fashion, what do you look for? What makes you interested?
Well, the thing is that throughout the years, I mean, we know the world has changed, especially this year and everything. But the most important thing is the message and the vision that designer has. I mean, nowadays, it's not anymore about just doing beautiful clothes. Obviously, beautiful clothes, I mean, quality clothes, not just aesthetic. And I think that it's very, very important, the message, the vision, and to who the designer wants to, what's their consumer. But the vision and the message is fundamental, because it's not just a matter of clothes, it's matter what's behind, what's, the message you want to give, the people that you work with, the community, the responsibility, which is now fundamental. I mean, I do think that when I meet graduate students and or designers that are starting the brand, I always tell them, you cannot start a brand not thinking of being responsible, because I mean, nowadays, if you start a brand and you're responsible since the beginning, I mean, you are going to be achieving to be sustainable as much as you can, rather than a big brand that has been on the industry for 10 years. So this is something fundamental.
You've worked in fashion since the early 1990s. Can you remember any moments that really made you stop in your tracks and pay attention, like this is new, this is interesting? What were they?
Not mid 90s, if not already
Early
an
90s.
age ago. No, I'm joking, but no, I was joking. I was joking.
Yeah,
I know.
sure.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I was very, very lucky to, to start to work at Vogue in the 90s, which was like, I do think the best period in fashion, because, I mean, just consider the like the five designers from Antwerp and what's happening in fashion. And it was really the meaning of what haute couture meant, I mean, and pret-a-porter. So, I mean, all the words that were used and are still used in fashion today, it had a meaning at that time. And I mean, there was not really a specific episode, because there would be a lot of them. But I think it was the era that we lived in the 90s that was completely creative and free. Free is the right word, to be free. I mean, I'm not saying that we are not free anymore right now, but there was not, I mean, internet was coming, there was no social networks. I mean, there was time, it was a slow time of working. I mean, the people in the industry were already a lot, but not so many, which I'm saying, obviously now we're in a time of evolution. There's fantastic reasons of why social networks give us so much chance. But I think it was the freeness of the slowness of doing things, because you had time. And I lived it on my skin, because when I started the internship in Vogue, which was 95, well, the door was open to me, and well, it was open to Franca, that was editor-in-chief at that time. And then I spent, probably when they asked me, you know, how did you begin and everything, and my internship probably lasted 5 or 6 years, I have to say, because it was slow. I mean, you had the time to do things, and now it's so fast. So I think that was something, and you could see it in fashion. I mean, look at, I mean, just think about Versace and all the supermodels, and you know, and then Helmut Lang coming out. I mean, and Margiela. I mean, there was so much happening that it was unbelievable, and it was a different time. And I think there you could really have pure creativity. Now you have it in another way. There it was more pure. It was more spontaneous.
Do you think we'll ever be able to have that again, that sort of freedom, or is that lost forever?
It's an evolution. I mean, we are free also today, because I mean, we are free to decide what we want to do, who we want to support, what's our mission. I mean, so we are free to do that, obviously, but it's different, because now there's so much other things that can in a way, how do you say, in a way, change our minds or influence us. There's more influence right now, because obviously, look at social networks. I mean, whether you want to like it or not, everyone looks at it, and in a way you're influenced, because you could be influenced of a message or an image, or which is fantastic. But I wouldn't say we don't have it. We have freeness right now. It's just an evolution of what was before.
That makes sense. I did want to ask you, you mentioned social media, and your Instagram account is such an incredible wealth of new looks and new ideas. What role do the digital channels play in inspiring you, especially now that we're unable to travel quite so much?
Well, I have to say that my Instagram account, I follow it myself, and then Alberto, who works with me, helps me out. But I don't take it too seriously. I mean, I take it seriously with, you know, the images and the message I want to give, but I'm not under pressure about how many follows I have, or how many likes, or how many comments. I mean, that's also the freeness of expressing yourself without being slave of numbers and likes. So I do hope it's kind of more of a reflection of myself, and it's fundamental, obviously, in this year of not traveling. I mean, I used to travel 200 days a year, and I for 15 months I haven't got a plane, and that didn't even happen when I was born. So it was kind of a big change in my life. But I have to say that, well, you know, evolution, technology permitted us for a year and a half to work, to meet people, obviously just by video, but to speak and to continue to do what we really want to do, and to keep going on creating awareness and messages. So I look at social media, but not as much as people would think so.
I guess some people also argue that Instagram is causing like a decrease in creativity, because everybody is too aware of what everybody else is doing, and ideas get shared and copied across the globe. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, copy it's in history. It's in from when, you know, the world was born. So I mean, it's something that it's physical. So I mean, it's physical, it's normal, but it's not even copying. Usually it's inspiration. Copy, it's something a little bit more not good. But well, you know, the thing, that's why you don't have to take too much of a depth in things. I mean, you don't need to see too much social network, too much television, too much Netflix, too much of everything, because then it's not anymore your thinking, but it's someone else thinking. So, but this obviously it depends, because then it depends how you are, solid as a person, and experience and everything. I remember, I mean, for me, the first 10 years working, I was completely unsure. I was very shy, which I'm still right now, less obviously, but I mean, insecurity is normal. And when you get more secure, it's about, you realize it because you have maybe 10 years experience or more behind. And but in a way, to be insecure, I think it's always good to have it, because it's a way of putting yourself into discussion and thinking, to do it better in something. So it's always good to be a little bit insecure, and always a little bit not harsh on yourself, but critic on yourself. I mean, nobody's gonna be perfect, or and I think that also adding up to the job, I mean, the fashion industry, I'm lucky because I've been working for so many years now. It's 25 years, but I always say that I learn every day. So the time I'm gonna stop learning things, probably I would need to change job, because I mean, the beauty of knowledge is fundamental.
I know this is a little bit of a personal question, but what feeds your creativity? Do you go to museums? Are you secretly super into knitting, or do you create new recipes in the kitchen? What do you do when you need that extra?
Everything except the kitchen. Although I'm Italian, I don't know how to cook. I'm a disaster. No, I feed myself with books, images, travel, which doesn't mean physical travel, even traveling with the mind. I think interaction with people. I mean, I always say Vogue Talents, it's a support of the new generation. But for me, I always tell designers, students, and whoever I cross path with, that kind of, I'm a little vampire, because when I travel and I meet designers, I really like absorb them, because the beauty of meeting so many people from different parts of the world is not just looking at their portfolio, their collection, or their pictures, illustrations, or whatever they're doing in the creative field, but it's about knowing them, their culture, their traditions, their story, what's behind. So I mean, that's the best way to nurture yourself.
That sounds like such a good note to end our super short, far too short chat on. Despite your shyness, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And if you have any parting words, any advice for the students, let me know. Otherwise, I will just let you get on with your day in sunny Milan.
No, it's a beautiful day, Milan. Finally. No, I mean, my suggestions to students, and it's quite gonna be the same, probably evolving with what happens around us, but it's so important really to stick to your vision and to what you really is your message. Because I mean, in the industry, there's always going to be so many people judging you and telling you what you should do or what you not should do or anything. I mean, I always tell designers, it's never going to be me telling you, I mean, change job or this is not good. I mean, when you decide to interact with designers and students, you need to have time and passion and sit down. And the moment you begin to speak, I mean, you have to get the time to do a constructive, talk, which could be a constructive positive talk or a constructive negative talk. But I would never tell designers, I mean, you cannot be a designer because you're not able. That's not really, not even in my vocabulary. So the important thing for creative people is really to always stick to your vision and your dreams and what you really believe in. Because if you're like in front of me or in front of anyone else in the industry and you're showing your work or your collection or your portfolio, photographs, it means that you have done it because you believe in it. So I mean, that's very important, because too often creative people are kind of misled by comments, which I'm not judging, but I'm just saying that, I mean, when you decide to take by hand people, you need to, you know, take the time to lead them, and it's not just about saying it's beautiful, it's horrible. I mean, you have to take a little bit more time of yourself. So I mean, the message is always be yourself. I mean, listen to people, but then listen to your heart and your visions. That's the most important.
Thank you so much, Sara. That's a good note.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
You very
I hope
much.
to see you soon.
I hope to come to Helsinki soon. I love Helsinki.
I am looking forward to it. Have a lovely day.
Okay. You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And say hi to the girls.
I
Bye.
will.
Ciao, ciao.